Hi there, Mark the Beta Tech skiing, and I'm here with the fabulous Fab, and we're having a look at the Barco WeConnect virtual classroom. Tomorrow we have a workshop on it. By the time you see this video, tomorrow will be long and gone. However, what's really cool, our message right now is, as you can see, we're physically distancing, but we are digitally connecting. So this is what's really, really important about what we're about our message and what we're trying to convey in the classrooms going forward, not just 2, 3, 4 weeks from now, but 4 to 6 months from now and further down the line. The ones that see that are the ones that are really going to benefit, I believe. So without talking too much, I'm going to cross over to Fab, who's going to give us a really good demonstration from a teacher perspective of using the Barco WeConnect product. Over to you, Fab. Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you for the opportunity of showing you guys the Barco WeConnect virtual classroom from a teacher perspective. I would like to thank you guys for coming over and having a look at our space here, which is also available for any private sessions or anyone who would like to have the experience from a student point of view. We are happy to have a chat with you guys and just show you what we can do with the WeConnect on our virtualized training platform. So I've logged into the system as a teacher. I'm gonna start planning my session here. I'm gonna select my site or the campus that I am in. I'm gonna select the room that I'm using. And by default, our system has been set up to be configured as a classroom, a virtual classroom. You can, if I click on this button, I can actually choose other options like just a normal classroom, etc. But we are gonna go for a virtual classroom so we can experience that with other people who are waiting for us right now. So I'm gonna start a session. As I start the session, you're gonna see that on the big screen, the system will reconfigure itself, and then we are gonna see the participants of this particular class that we are starting right now. Of course, looking at the virtual classroom perspective and the nature of WeConnect, it's important for us to understand that the scalability of the system would allow you to go from a simpler installation for less amount of people and up to 100 users simultaneously on the platform for a single virtual classroom. So that gives you freedom to configure spaces differently, different hardware goes with different necessities, and scalability is very important because at the end of the day you can run smaller sessions for groups of 4, 5, 6 people, or you can start escalating and going up to 112 actually, which is pretty good. So now we have one participant of this, on our screen. That could be populated up to 24, which is the capacity of our room here, right? And what I have here is now, what she will have is the image that I have on my computer is what she's receiving at the far end. So here I have content which could be the whiteboard, and could be questions and polls and chats and everything else that the platform allows us to interact with the students as a resource for me to pick and choose. So for example, I have selected the whiteboard here, for example, and I have a touch monitor here. I can start just putting some information on the whiteboard and start by interacting with my students that are receiving that content in front of them. So if I touch this little button here, and this is all, as you can see, very intuitive and pretty much set up in a very similar way to any other whiteboard that you have engaged with so far. So there's no secret in here, or there's no hidden icons. You can choose colors, you can erase, you can go back. All those features are there ready to go for you to use and start collaborating. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna enable the students at the far end to respond or to collaborate with me using this whiteboard. So they have received via what they can see on the screen that they can engage with the whiteboard, and I'll ask Haley to please respond to the equation that I have put on the screen. So I'm not quite sure how her math is up to date so far, but you know, you can see that she has responded already. So I can delete this. Herself as a student, she can save snapshots of what she's looking at on the screen, and etc. and so forth. I can just delete this, and if I don't want to use it, or I can save it for later, and I can go back here and, for example, choose to share my screen. So when I'm sharing my screen, I can just go and I can select any application that I have open on my computer and choose that to be shared with the far end, which would allow me to do annotation over that particular content, would allow them to save snapshots as the class is being conducted, and so forth, which is pretty good. Students are also capable of sharing their screens, etc., which is, you know, just enhance the capability of the system. Another thing that it's important for us to have a look here as well is the ability to run polls. I want you guys to focus on this screen because this is very important. You can run polls and they can have, it can be a like or dislike or multiple options, or you can actually ask them to actually write a particular comment about a particular topic. But the most important key feature of the poll feature is they were made to be quick. So the teacher on the fly, he can just say, hey guys, what do you guys think about the virtual platform that we are using here? So I'm gonna choose them to like or dislike, and you're gonna see that that will be running for 30 seconds. You can actually increase that number or not if you choose to. And for example, if you know that everyone has already answered all the questions, you can just go and stop the poll. You know the results, and you can see on your screen who has answered what, so you can address people individually and precisely give them instant feedback and try to understand what the issue was in understanding that particular issue, etc., etc. If I close the poll, the results will be displayed at the student screen. So now they know exactly what the results were, if they were wrong, if they were right, depending on how the teacher wants to address those things. If I go to the questions and answers, I have here like a list of all the silent questions, anonymous or not, that students have been triggering throughout this session. My students are pretty good and they're pretty smart, so they haven't asked any questions at this point in time. One of the cool features of this particular session is the fact that any questions that I have answered, and I can click on them that I have answered them, and then they will drop down in my priority list. On the other hand, students at the far side, they can like questions. So if I have a particular question that has been liked more than others, that will go up on the priority list, so I have them to address first. And I know that that's a hot topic, that it's causing some trouble in their heads, and they need to be addressed, and it's more important. So you have to take care of those issues. You're gonna have at the end of any session a report which I can pull, and the report will give me information about the time the students were there. It will give me if they ask questions or not, the anonymous or not, what they answer throughout polls and quizzes, and all the engagement tools that I have used throughout that particular session. I will have a report that you can pull at the end of the session. And because at the end of the day, what I'm trying to get to here is you're gonna have a class that has 36 students. They are all asking silent questions. There's only limited time for you to address all those questions. At the end of the day, you wanna know exactly what the issues were, who were having those issues, and how you can address that to a following classroom, or even directly via email to your students individually, depending on the matter, right? So these are some of the features of the WeConnect, and here I'm gonna show you guys that I can get how easy it is actually to get the session data. So if I just click on this button here, I'm gonna have Excel spreadsheet that I can save and then start using for further sessions, or as I said, just to address students individually as I go. The data from the session is also saved by the system itself, but we strongly recommended the teachers to actually take that away after they finish the session, so they can actually take that file instantly without having to contact IT department, etc. And that's pretty much how you run a class with the WeConnect. Thank you very much. And again, if you guys would like to participate of a classroom, please contact Mark. He has direct contact with us. We can organize sessions here with you guys at any time, private sessions or a group session, just so you guys can experience remotely a virtual class from a student perspective. Thank you very much. I'm Fab from AV Distributors.
Thanks, Fab. So I think the really important message here is that we're trying to, and it's the conversation we had today, is we're trying to, we're all in fairly uncharted territory right now, right? So we're trying to predict the future as best we possibly can.
Yeah.
A lot of people thinking but don't want to admit that the challenges we've got right now are a lot further than 4 weeks. You know, they're probably closer to 4 to 6, maybe 8 months before we come out of this thing, so where schools are operating again. And I think everybody admits that school is never, or business anyway in the world, is never going to be the same as it was. So the ones that are evolving the fastest, and with the conversation was around how do we just get up and running doing this very, very quickly. It's like, let's grab some panels. This is a really simple system to actually put together. If you, and most schools have got some panels, they've got the IT infrastructure, they just need to add a few of these widgets, and we can have this WeConnect up and running. And actually, if the event that school went back to normal as it were, then we can redeploy these widgets because they have a whole different set of functionality built into them. That's the core message here. So we can get people up and running quite fast.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think you're that right about the eyes at the moment are on this type of solutions, but this is not the only way you can actually use the WeConnect system.
Yeah.
So the functionality that I have shown you guys is also present for what we call the classrooms. So you can actually have the WeConnect already as a classroom configuration and allowing people physically to be in the room, which gives you exactly what you're saying. You can use the WeConnect to use the elements you already have in your institution today to deliver a solution virtually, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to be using this same solution further when people go back to your site, because all the same tools will be available. You're just going to change, and that's the beauty of dealing with software, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, this is a killer product, and the ones that win out of this are the ones that are really seeing the immediate fix, but also seeing the long-term fix of how they can use this further down the track. There's so much opportunity here for change, for creating change in education. For us, it's K-12, but it's not K-12, it's tertiary, it's any RTO, it's TAFE, it's anything that does any training
Organizations
whatsoever.
deploying training today.
Large corporates deploying training. This is
right.
huge. So guys, if you need to know more, I'm sure everybody wants to know more, shoot me a message down below, or on digital message me, send me an email, find me. I'm not that hard to find, and we can certainly help you out. And this is the key product that is, as I say, our message is physically distancing, digitally connecting. So, virtual high five to Fab.
Elbow.
Stay tuned. Talk to you soon, guys.
Thank you very much.